It's before me. I delight to do thy will. Oh, my Elohim Israel. I strive to do thy laws, which have been within thy heart.
Blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, everlasting to everlasting. Amen. Amen. Blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, everlasting to everlasting. Amen. Amen.
I was dumb with silence. I held my peace, even from good, and my sorrow was stirred, and my heart was hard within me. I delight to do thy will. Oh, my Elohim Israel. I strive to do thy laws, which have been within thy heart.
Blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, everlasting to everlasting. Amen. Amen. Blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, everlasting to everlasting. Amen. Amen.
Blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, everlasting to everlasting. Amen. Amen.
Well, hello, welcome back to another live, giving all the glory, honor, and respect to YAH, my Elohim, which has created the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is. That is my creator, and that's the creator of all. So I'm going to turn to the east. We're going to put our hands up, bow our heads. And we want to thank the Elohim for bringing us together for another meeting on this beautiful night that the Most High has created. And we pray, we beg that the Most High will have mercy on our souls and show us wisdom and understanding. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O YAH, my strength and my Redeemer. Hallelujah. So, my name is Giovanna Milhama Yisrael, and we're back with another live. You see the title? Because I'm pretty sure some of our sisters probably had some questions from the video either last night or a couple nights ago. Still some unanswered questions. And so I understand why a lot of us are very skeptical when it comes to following men. You understand? I understand, because this generation has been so traumatized by men. We have been absolutely traumatized, more than a lot of our ancestors, right? Maybe not the ones that were in this last captivity and chattel slavery, where we were scattered to the four corners, but I'm talking about those ancient, ancient ancestors, right? Because this time, our people lost everything. We lost it all. See, when we were in Egypt, we still had our identity. Everybody knew who the Hebrew Israelites were in Egypt in our first captivity. But now, everybody seems to be at odds about who we are and where we come from. So, it's part of our jobs to help wake up, shake up, and bring our brothers and sisters to the light of YAH. So we can give our children a better future, right? That's what we all want. So let's go to Numbers chapter 31. Let's go to Numbers chapter 31. Okay, so let's go down to the 17th verse, and it reads, Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that has known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. You understand? Now, I know that might sound harsh and cruel to a lot of people. It might sound very harsh and cruel. But we also have to understand that humans, we're not soft like little marshmallows. We're very savage creatures, right? We're very savage creatures, and we need laws for the things that we do. And the laws that we need are righteous laws that come from the Creator, right? So when the Most High sees that there is a nation, like you can look at Benjamin Netanyahu and all of his minions, and you can look at Donald Trump and MAGA, and all of these rogue communities of people, rogue nations of people. What do you think is supposed to happen with those people and their families? You understand? What do you think should happen to people like that? Because let me tell you something. They murdered our people and several other nations without cause. I mean, it was just straight slaughter, rape, and all types of pillaging. And they would do this to even the children. Do you understand? This law that is so righteous from the Creator, this law is not a law to harm the innocent. Do you understand? This law is not a law to harm the innocent. Even though you might read accounts of males harming the innocent and women harming the innocent, doesn't mean that just because it's in here, it's approved by the Creator. Do you understand? You can tell stories of sinners and what not to do. You can do that. You can tell stories of sinners and what not to do in the law. That is what we're supposed to do. That's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing. Do you understand? But our law didn't have us to just go and commit a genocide because we felt like it. It didn't have us to go and commit a genocide because we wanted some resources. No. These were true divine wars. just like they show you Star Wars, right? These were divine wars right here on earth when the righteous men went to battle with the wicked men. You're supposed to wipe out the wicked because you cannot keep your earth safe and clean when the wicked are running rampant. There's no consequence. They're not being checked, right? This is what people are complaining about, especially the women and the children. So when our people went into battle, the Most High knew exactly who to save alive and who to kill. Don't you know? Sometimes we would be enemies with some nations, and eventually we would mend that relationship. And eventually that nation would join to us, and then we could marry their sons and daughters and our sons and daughters with each other because they took on the law of the Creator. Did you know that? So the Most High, when the Most High says kill everything breathing, you better believe it's for a reason. Benjamin Netanyahu was a newborn once too. You understand? The Most High knows all things. So we have to trust the process. So that's just one instance, right? That's one instance. It says to save those women, children for your people. Save them. You want to know why there's a difference? Because nowhere in there does it imply that they did anything perverse to those little girls. You understand? It doesn't imply that. They were saving those girls. The Most High wanted all the males to die for a reason. When something is sick on the earth, it has to be cut out completely. So no, the girls would absorb into our nation, and the Most High had it that way in that instance, and that was the Midianites. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. I want to show you all the difference. Let's, because these are all war laws. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 21. And let's start at the 10th verse. So it reads, when you go forth to war against your enemies, and Yah your Elohim has delivered them into your hands, and you have taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that you would have her to your wife. Do you understand? You see the difference? Because remember, we went over in Numbers chapter 1 and verse 3, 20 is the age of maturity in our nation. 20. Do you understand? So in this verse in Deuteronomy 21, it's explaining how when our men would go to battle, they would go to war, and they see a beautiful woman that they want to marry. You see the distinction in those verses? They saved the little girls, they saved them, and then they wanted to marry the women like a man would. That's natural. You understand? That is natural. Our Creator is not dysfunctional like a lot of minds of perverse men, right? Then the Most High goes on to say, then shall you bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. She's in mourning because she lost her people. Her people were wicked, you understand? But she's in mourning. So this is not some, we're going to take her and strip her naked and toss her on the ship and rape her on the ship and then throw her overboard so the sharks can get her. This is not that type of situation. You understand? Our histories were totally opposite because the things that we did were for good. It was for the betterment of society. Right? And so the Most High says in verse 13, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in your house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that you shall go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. Right? So there's no raping going on. Because if she decided, you know what, I just can't take this, the Most High didn't say, then you must force her or anything like that. You understand? When they killed off those evil men in those evil nations, why would they leave the women and children, right? And sometimes Most High might have been having mercy on a lot of those kids too. Because it's like, we can't take these kids with us. We don't want them to suffer. And so they put them out their misery. Right? They were raised by wicked parents who probably throwing them in fire and sacrificing them. These are the ancients, and these are the rituals that they were performing. You understand? We don't need that type of behavior on the earth. There has to be restrictions to things. Boundaries. Even the Most High set boundaries all around the earth. That's why we're not flying off the earth. Because there's boundaries. You understand? So she got to mourn her mother and her father for 30 days. She knew they were evil. She knew that a lot of those people, probably, maybe even all of them, sometimes in some cases, were just wicked people. But when you're raised in evil, a lot of us can testify to this. When you're raised in evil and that's all you know, it becomes normal. It becomes normal. You know it's painful. You know it hurts. You know it's not supposed to be happening. Right? But this is why the Most High had restrictions. Go wipe them out. Because the goal is for all of us to grow together in unity. In righteousness, not wickedness, not unity in wickedness, unity in righteousness. That's the goal, right? And then in verse 14 it reads, and it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go, whither she will. But you shall not sell her. So we ain't pimping anybody. We're not abusing anybody. We're not raping anybody. These men are not doing that. They had strict laws prohibiting them from doing stuff like that. Right? Don't be selling her like she's merchandise, a slave or something like that. They had to honor us. They had to respect the women. Because that's what the Most High delights in. Righteousness. And the Most High said, if you have no delight in her, because maybe she just ain't getting with the program. Maybe she's just like, I'm just not feeling this. And maybe she's giving him hell. I don't know. Because she like, you know what? I just don't even want to be here. And then he has to let her go. He got to let her go. You can't hold her hostage as a slave. And it tells you, you shall not make merchandise of her, because you have humbled her. So because you have done this to her, you can't just treat her any kind of way. Because you've done this to her. You understand? The man is responsible. The Most High does hold the man accountable. You understand? Yes, she was with you, but you've done this to her. You've humbled her. So it's your job as a man, it's your duty as a righteous man, right? To make sure that she is comforted. You ain't just gonna, do anything, abuse her. The Most High did not approve of that, right? Let's go to uh, Exodus 22, because I want to show y'all when the righteous brothers rescued those little girls, right? When they rescued those little girls, you know what happened to those little girls? Let's see. Exodus 22. Exodus 22, because they don't have parents. Exodus 22 and verse 22. It reads, "You shall not afflict any widow or orphan child." The Most High just told you, you shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. So let's look up the word afflict. No, that's not the dictionary I want. Okay. Let's read the definition of afflict. 1. To cause pain or suffering to. To cause pain or suffering to. So if they were allowed to marry little girls, those little girls would have been afflicted. You understand? Caused pain and suffering to. That's not the age of consent. Do you understand? That child hasn't even developed the common sense to really know right from wrong. A lot of those times that they promoted child marriage. A lot of these countries promote child marriage at age 12 and under. Like, come on now. So, no, this is not what our men in our nation were permitted to do. They were not. To distress so severely as to cause persistent suffering or anguish. You understand? So you could not punish, you could not torture these children or these women. It says the widows too. These are the single women. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child, any orphan child. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 10. Deuteronomy chapter 10. And I'm going to start reading at the 18th verse. So it reads, well, actually, let me start reading at the 17th verse. It reads, "For Yah your Elohim is the Elohim of Elohims, the master of masters, a great Elohim, a mighty and a terrible, which regard not persons, nor takes reward. He doth execute of the fatherless and the widow, and loves the stranger, and giving him food and raiment." So the Most High is very, he looks out for us. Our Creator looks out for us, because you can't depend on a man to look after you. Not when they're not following these laws. When they're not following these laws, how are they going to protect you? They're part of the problem a lot of the times. Either they're going to be a predator, or they're going to be silent. Not do anything about it. Right? complacent, complicit, all those things. So, and I do understand that there are women predators out there too. I'm not excluding them because they're in there. Men and women, all of y'all alike. Those who want to afflict the single women and the orphan children, the fatherless kids, you are part of the problem. You will be wiped out if you do not change your wicked ways. So, anywho, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14. All my brothers and sisters, I know we've all been through a lot. We all got a story to share. We all got a story to tell. You understand? All of us. So let's start at the 29th verse. And it reads, "And the Levite, because he has no part nor inheritance with you, and the stranger, and the orphans, and the single women, the widows, which are within your gates, shall come, and shall eat, and be satisfied, that YAH your Elohim may bless you in all the work of your hand, which you doest." You understand? So, when you treat the women and children good, the Most High blesses us. The Creator blesses us. You want to know why there's so many curses going on? You want to know why there's so much death and disease and destruction? It's because we're cursed. And we're not looking for a blessing because we don't want to change our ways. We think we're blessed already. But that couldn't be furthest from the truth. You understand? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 20. Deuteronomy chapter 20. And it reads in the 13th verse, "And when YAH your Elohim," wait a minute, let's start at verse 12 so you can understand just how wicked men are, right? Listen, "And if it will make no peace with you, but will make war against you." See, because if you want to answer in peace, so let's start at verse 11. It says, "And it shall be, if it make the answer of peace, if you make the answer of peace, and open unto you, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. And if it will make no peace with you, but will make war against thee, then you shall besiege it." So they made war against you even though you wanted to have peace. These are the peacemakers. These are the peacemakers. They didn't want to have war. Our forefathers, our ancestors always wanted to have peace. But they wanted to make war with us, just like today. All of our brothers and sisters who've been scattered to the four corners of the earth, they want to make war with us wherever we are. You understand? We just want peace. But so the Most High tells you, then you shall besiege it. Meaning you're going to go and take over. You are going to go and wipe them out. Because they wanted to play these games. Right? Verse 13. "And when YAH your Elohim has delivered it into your hands, you shall smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword." Why the Most High say that? Well, for one, we've always had a population of more women than men, right? And the men were in a lot of protector positions because they're built for that, right? And so they're protecting the women and the children, the village. This is a wonderful thing, right? So, yes, smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword, because these are the sons of those wicked men, right? The Most High knows why you need to slay them. They chose to be wicked for a reason. They chose wickedness, right? And the Most High says in the 14th verse, but the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shall you take unto yourself. So the little ones, that includes little boys. You understand? It didn't say any specific gender. And you know they're not marrying the little boys, right? But the little ones. So they're taking these orphans after they slayed their wicked relatives who were probably abusing them, right? And so the Most High knows these things. You don't just go based off of on a whim. You wait for the Most High. This is why, yes, the last video we talked about how do you know that the Most High sent somebody? How do you know the Most High is real without using the word, without the words in the Old Testament? Well, the Most High gave you instructions for that, and the Most High told you what to look for in a prophet that was sent by the Creator. We have to have witnesses. That sounds right to me. If somebody coming to you talking about God sent me, we need to have witnesses to those miracles. You say something that comes to pass, you come in the name of YAH, and you're telling us about something that's about to come to pass, and then it passes a huge major event, and it just keeps happening and happening like that, you foreseeing the future. Yeah, this person was probably sent by the Creator, no doubt. They were sent by a higher power because they getting intel, they getting that information. I'm like, whoa, how'd you know fireballs are about to start dropping down the sky? How'd you know the fireballs were coming? Type stuff, right? Of course that person was sent by the higher power. So, no, men didn't just, our righteous men didn't just go to war just because they felt like it. They didn't just go to war because they just felt like slaughtering kids and slaughtering people and starving them and torturing them. We didn't do none of that stuff. None of that. That's not what we were supposed to do. Most High, in some cases, didn't even want us to take any of their belongings once we left. After you slay them, don't take their belongings. So you know that wasn't even for no resources or anything. So what were they coming to slay them for? Because of their evil ways, their behavior. So they wiped them out because they were a parasite. Just like we have a lot of these groups out here today, they're parasites. You understand? And in verse where was I? I'm still in verse 14. So then it says, and you shall eat the spoil of your enemies, which Yah your Elohim has given you. See? You shall eat the spoil of your enemies, Yah your Elohim has given you. So you can go in there and eat. Okay? Because you probably going to be hungry after you kill these over here. These guys are kind of big. You might want to replenish your energy. Right? So, I mean, it just depends. It all depends. The Most High told them in this case that they could save the women and children alive. And the animals. The spoil, the food, all of that. Not utterly destroy everything. You had some nations you had to utterly destroy everything, including their idols, because of the sick perverseness that the Most High witnessed them doing. They just utterly destroy it all. You think the Creator don't know what he's talking about? Verse 15 says, "Thus shall you do unto all the cities which are very far off from you, which are not of the cities of these nations, but of the cities of these people, which YAH your Elohim does give you for an inheritance. You shall save alive nothing that breathes." The Most High about to tell you right here, you, in this case, when you go and slay these folks, don't save nothing that breathes. That's how wicked they are. Don't save nothing that breathes over there. You understand? Verse 17 reads, "But you shall utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites." They're called parasites. Come on now. "The Hivites and the Jebusites, as YAH your Elohim has commanded you, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods. So should you sin against YAH your Creator." They did a whole bunch of abominations that we weren't even supposed to be practicing. Okay? A lot of those abominations people are practicing all around the world today. That's why the world is all messed up. You understand? Now let's go on to Deuteronomy chapter 24. Deuteronomy chapter 24. Righteous laws. Praise Yah. Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 17. It says, "You shall not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the parentless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge." You are not supposed to pervert the judgment. You understand? The Most High did not approve of that. Our laws do not approve of perverse judgments. They can't be perverse. They can't pervert the judgment. They have to do according to what thus saith the Creator. Thus saith YAH. Always. That's how you live righteously. That's how you do the right thing, right? That's how you can get a community and a whole nation to do the right thing. Because as individuals, we might think that, okay, well, I have good intentions, I'm all good. And that may be true in your case. But there are going to be things that are not good to the Creator, that the Creator sees in you. Because remember, the Most High is always, we're a work in progress, and the Most High is always growing us. Growth, growth. We're always growing. So you don't want to just stop at what you believe. You want to go to the source. Right? We want to go to the source. I don't want to just go by my own judgment in my own heart, thinking that, oh, well, I have good intentions, so that's where I'm going to stop. I can stop right there. No, because our duty is to raise everyone up. Part of our duty is to raise everyone up to our vibration. This is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So, you will not pervert the judgment of the stranger. So, even the people, so we didn't have racism. We didn't do that. We couldn't be racist. So just because somebody had a different nation or skin tone, we could not pervert the judgment of that individual or those people. We had to treat them fairly. Those are righteous laws. That's what everybody wants, right? Fairness and equality, right? That's what everybody wants. So let's go on to Exodus chapter. As a matter of fact, let's start at Deuteronomy or Psalm chapter 127. Psalm chapter 127. And let's start reading at the 3rd verse. And the Most High says, Lo, children are a heritage of the Creator, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So the Most High delights in his children. He created us. You understand? The Most High loves us. The Most High loves us, the children. The Most High loves our children. And their children, and their children. The Most High loves the children. You understand? The Most High would not want you to harm the children. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. And let's start reading at the 7th verse. And it reads, And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. So the Most High wants us to teach the laws, the righteous laws, diligently to our children. Diligently. This is how we keep them protected. This is how we keep our children on the right path. You understand? Because I know a lot of y'all and a lot of us, we can testify about our upbringing, our childhood, right? A lot of us. Because we didn't have what? Righteous laws. We didn't have righteous laws. No matter how much we love our parents and how good we think they are, because that's all we know, those are our parents, right? They need righteous laws. They're no different than any other human being. As human beings, all of us, we need, except in the sense that you have to honor them, right? Honor your mother and father. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And when it really gets down to it, all of us, we need the righteous laws of the Creator, no matter how old or how young. All of us need these laws because we see what happens when we don't have these laws. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22. And I'm going to start reading at the 6th verse. And it reads, Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. You understand? Train up a child in the way they should go. So the way not to go would be all of the examples of the people that you see today. Right? Most of the examples of the people that we see today were not raised up in the way they should go. A lot of us were not. However old or young we are. A lot of us were not raised up in the way that we should go. We were raised in total dysfunction, right? Traumatized to this day. And we're wondering why we can't get it together, why we can't have any unity, why we can't see eye to eye. Well, as children, oh, we weren't trained up in the way that we should go, the way that we should go. See, we were trained up in the way we should not go, right? And that's all the ways of man. All the ways of man. And now people are having epiphanies all around the world. People are having revelations. They're waking up. And they're realizing none of these ways are good. All of these ways are corrupt. And why are all these ways corrupt? Well, we don't have righteous laws. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 54. Okay. Isaiah chapter 54. And I'm going to start reading at the 13th verse. And it reads, "And all your children shall be taught of the Creator, and great shall be the peace of your children." So the Most High wanted our children to have peace. So why would the Most High approve of the sick things that come from the thoughts of man? And the ways they want to twist stuff around and make it seem like we don't have righteous laws. Because they don't have righteous laws. And so they automatically assume the worst. Because man knows man. But that's not true when it comes to the laws of the Creator. The Most High wants us to have peace, not dysfunction. Go to Joshua chapter 6. And I'm going to start reading at the 21st verse. And it reads, "And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox, and sheep, and ass, with the edge of the sword." Did you see that? They had to destroy everybody except Rahab and her family. But they had to destroy everybody that was in there. Why? Because those people were so wicked. They were so wicked, they had to destroy the animals. And I can't even imagine why. These are some sick, perverted nations. You understand? They had to destroy everything because everything was corrupt. Just like today, everything is corrupt. You understand? And this is why the Most High flooded the earth the first time, then made a covenant with Noah and the whole earth that it would not flood over the earth anymore. But the Most High will use fire. You understand? And this is where the story of hell comes from. Because everything will be burned to ashes. They had to destroy everything. So they weren't saving nobody in this case. You understand? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7. And let's start reading at the 3rd verse. Well, actually, let's start reading at the 2nd verse. It says, "And when YAH, your Elohim, shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them." Most High was even done with the mercy on these people. They were so evil. The Most High didn't have no mercy on them. Verse 3, "Neither shall you make marriages with them. Your daughter you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son." So you see it's clear when they saved these children alive that those arranged marriages would have been for their sons and daughters. You understand? It would have been for their sons and daughters. "You shall not give his son nor his daughter, or give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son." So we had to destroy everybody because everybody was corrupt. Everybody was evil. And this is how you handle problems on the earth. This is how you handle the problems. You can't let the problems just grow and grow and grow with no accountability, with no repercussion, right? There has to be a severe punishment for these things. And the Most High gave us those laws for severe punishment for the wicked. Let's go to Exodus chapter 34. And let's start reading at the 15th verse. And it reads, "Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and you eat of his sacrifice, and you take of his daughters unto your sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make your sons go a whoring after their gods, you shall make thee no molten gods," no idols. No idols. The Most High tells you in verse 13, "But you shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other God. For YAH, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." And why do you think that is? Because the Most High made all these things. So when you want to go and do rituals for another idol, see what you think what you're doing is innocent. You say, "Oh, well, I'm a good witch. I'm a good witch." But there's no regulations, no restrictions on the bad witches, right? You say, "I'm quote unquote a good witch." Well, what about the bad witches? Who's stopping them? Who? That's why it's all bad. All the witchcraft. There's no order. You can't come together under witchcraft. Not our people. We're supposed to be righteous. That's why we're divided now. So the Most High did not want you mingling with those people. There go the parasite again. The parasites and the Hittites. The Most High don't want you mingling with the parasites, because you're going to make some more parasite hybrid babies. That's not good. You're supposed to wipe them out. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 13. And let's start reading at the 25th verse. So it reads, "And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by Elohim, saying, You shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves." So you're not supposed to marry them, give them to, save the children for your camp. You're not supposed to do any of that. You're not supposed to mingle with them, not the evil people. Those evil nations, all those evil nations that are against us, you're not supposed to be mingling with them because they're taking your heart away from your source. They taking you off of your walk, off your path, distracting you, playing mind games with you, calling you the N word and bywords. You understand? Every time you have an argument. See? We're not supposed to mingle with that spirit. But a lot of our people do. A lot of our people like to mingle with that spirit. I'll never understand why. I don't know if it's just because we're just so used to abuse or what it is. But we are not supposed to mingle with our enemies. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 29. And let's start reading at the 5th verse. Matter of fact, let's start reading at the 4th verse. Because this is when we were in the captivity in Babylon for 70 years. It says, Thus saith YAH of hosts, and Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses, and dwell in them, and plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them, like our people are doing now. Take you wives, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that you may be increased there and not diminish. See, when you're in the captivity, when you're in the land of your captivity with your enemies, the Most High wants you to increase yourself, not others. The Most High wants you to increase yourself in your captivity. Because you're in your captivity, meaning you're going to have a whole lot of enemies. A whole lot of enemies. You're not in your own land. You don't have your own law that when the strangers come in, the strangers are following the law of the Creator. Right? You don't have that. Where we all have to have and take on one law. So we have to increase ourselves. You understand? That's what the Most High wanted us to do. That's why there are certain judgments you have to make. And in your captivity, you're not even slaying people. You're building, like a lot of our people are doing, right? And have attempted to do in the past, and it was destroyed. Right? All around the world. It was corrupted, hijacked. Our operations were always hijacked. So let's go over rebellious children, because I know a lot of people have these questions about, well, you're stoning your kids and this and that and the third. Listen, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Because I'm really about to prove to you every law is righteous. Every law is righteous. There is no coincidence with these laws. They're there for a reason. So Deuteronomy chapter 21, and we're going to start reading at the 18th verse. And it reads, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, a YN, you understand? That's what they call him now, YN. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them. So they done spanked him, they done punished him in all the ways they could think of. They done already punished this boy, and he just ain't listening. He out there terrorizing the neighborhood, and he's not listening, doing everything he's not supposed to be doing. You want him to go out there and harm other people? Or do we want verse 19? Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him. You gonna grab him up and bring him out unto the elders of his city. Because the elders already know what's up. They're like, that boy right there, he a problem. He a problem. The other kids were witnessing this. The other kids saw this. You understand? And by this time, he's probably a teenager. So you want him to grow and keep growing and get bigger than you? Or do you want to nip it in the bud? Do you want to handle it now? Because we can't say that they just, Hebrews just grabbing up their kids and stoning them to death. That was not the case. They had been punishing him, trying to get him to stop doing wicked stuff. He's just rebellious, don't want to do right. And he's just getting bigger and bigger and just disrespectful as ever. Eating you out of house and home. Verse 20. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. So we ain't talking about no little 5-year-old. He's a drunkard. You understand? He out there doing whatever. Off the chain. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones. Yes, they're going to stone him with stones, that he die. So shall you put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. So you don't want him corrupting the little kids, corrupting them. Hey man, you want to come over here and try this? And you up there influencing other people, kids. Come on now, you don't want that in your community. We complain about it, but we don't do anything about it. We don't do anything about it. And this is what the Most High made these righteous laws for situations like this. You understand? Let's go to Exodus chapter 21. Exodus chapter 21. Let's go to verse 15. In Exodus 21:15 it reads, and he that smites his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. That's somebody that's abusing their parents. I think that's a good righteous judgment. Somebody that's hitting their parents, he that smites his father or his mother shall be put to death. Yeah, they should. I would never hit my parents. Are you kidding me? In verse 17 it says, and he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put together or put to death. You understand? Because remember, these are rebellious seeds who have been chastened. They have been punished. They've already been disciplined by their parents. But the discipline ain't disciplining. It ain't working. So the Most High said, put them to death. You cursing your parents? That's evil. We look at, what was that show called? Super Nanny? And you see how them little kids be treated. We ain't gonna say nothing now. We know who it was. But we seen them kids on they cursing their parents out and hitting them, throwing stuff at them, pouring stuff on them, spitting on their parents. Come on, man. But I have to say, that's the parents' fault at that age. Because the parents need to be stoned to death too. Because you ain't disciplining your child. All of y'all some menaces. All of y'all are a menace to society. You and your parents. Because at that age, you should not be doing anything that defiant to your parent. You shouldn't be hitting on your parent, spitting on your parent. You 5 years old. How do you even know to do that? Except your parents must be some evil, wicked people. Right? But see, we are in a place now where we're in captivity. So you want to come at black people for disciplining their kids, because we discipline our kids. Spare the rod, spoil the child. We discipline our kids because we want our kids to do the right thing. I mean, this new generation, they ain't disciplining their kids like they supposed to. I have to give that credit to the older generation, right? This newer generation, they letting a lot of these kids just run the streets wild. They're not disciplining their kids. But at the time that we did, because we were known for that, right? As a people, we've always been known for the ones to spank our kids, to discipline our kids. You tell a little white kid grew up, he'll tell you when I was raised in a black neighborhood, yeah, them kids got discipline. Okay? They disciplined me. Right? They got stories to tell because that's what we were known for. We're supposed to discipline our children. Not abuse them, but we're supposed to discipline them because you want them to go the right way. You don't want them to keep being rebellious and defiant and to the point where it's super nanny up in your house. Don't even make sense. But we are in a law. We're in lands, right? A lot of us. Some of us are able to discipline our children more freely, but especially in the U.S., you're definitely in a land where they're gonna make it hard as ever for you to discipline your child. Remember back in the 80s and 90s how high those CPS cases were? They take your child away because you snatched the M&Ms out their hand and told them you ain't getting that. Take your child away from you. You understand? So the Most High understood all these things. And the Most High tells us in verse 7 of Jeremiah chapter 29, and seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto YAH for it, for in the peace thereof shall you have peace. You understand? Because we were doing the put your head down, follow all the rules. That's what we were trained to do that in captivity. Follow all the rules, accept your captivity. 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. That was our punishment. You understand? But we're coming out of this now. That's why there's a global awakening of our people. We're coming out of the land that's had us captive for so long. We're finding out who we are. We're finding ourselves. But the Most High told you, keep the peace of the city where I caused you to be captives. So we're not doing the same laws that we were doing in the land, just based off of that verse right there. You understand? Now, the Most High did command us to keep the laws that we can keep, like your dietary laws, right? All the laws that we can keep, and the laws that we could not keep, like animal sacrifice, disciplining our children, how we discipline. You understand? And let me tell you something. You took that little drunkard out there and stoned him to death because he ain't never listened. He was rebellious. He was a YN. You stoned him to death. And all those little children and them teenagers, everybody that's around, they saw it. They witnessed it. And so it deters them from being like that. So you think we had just widespread criminal activity? That wasn't until we were about to go into captivity. That's why the Most High puts us in these captivities. Because we fall from the law. We fall from the law. Back into captivity. And it just keeps happening over and over. And we're supposed to be living righteously. Live right. But I wanted to just explain that further. I want to elaborate on that. Because I know some sisters probably had questions from that last live. Because I didn't read enough scripture covering that. Because my video was about something totally different at that time. Right? So I just wanted to bring that out so that women don't have to be afraid to bring their children under the law of the Creator by thinking that, oh, this is going to be another evil patriarchy. It's an evil patriarchy. You don't have to be afraid to follow the laws of the Creator. And I know we've been through a lot, and we got to be skeptical, and we got to side eye, and we got to be careful. But that's why we search these things out ourselves, queens, right? We search it out for ourselves, because you can't depend on a man who's probably evil, more than likely evil, to interpret something for you. You got to go search it out for you, for yourself. So you can say, ha, so y'all ain't supposed to be living like this. No, we're not. We're not supposed to be living like this. And the Creator does not approve of us living how we live now as a collective, right? So let's skip on down and let's talk about Judges chapter 4, because I wanted to bring something out. This kind of ties into that, about the women of the nation, the women of our nation. We were not subjugated and oppressed. You understand? We were not subjugated and oppressed. The Most High tells the men, the righteous men, not to oppress us. You will not oppress the fatherless and the widow. You're not going to oppress them. That's a righteous law. You understand? In Judges chapter 4, I'm going to start reading at verse 17 because this is serious. Like, why would the Most High approve of women warriors if we were oppressed? We fought in battle. We're warriors as well. That's not an oppressed woman. An oppressed woman is not encouraged to fight any man. You're not encouraged to fight back. You're supposed to always put your head down and be submissive. Always. To a man. Now, there's nothing wrong with being humble. Right? But he's also supposed to show humbleness to you. He's not supposed to abuse you. So let's go to verse 17. And it reads, Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, and the wife of Heber the Kenite. And there was peace between Jabin and the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite, and Yael, which is the female warrior. This is a woman warrior. And Yael went out to meet Sisera, and said unto him, Sisera is that evil king, turn in, my lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. He wasn't even paying attention. She was stealth. She stealth with it. Okay? She covered him with a mantle. You know, he just relaxed and everything. She relaxing him. You just go on and lay down. You just, yeah, let me cover you with this mantle. And he said unto her, give me, I beg you, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him. She comforted him, right? She nurturing him and stuff, right? But then in verse 20 it says, again, he said unto her, stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man doth come and inquire of thee, and say, is there any man here? That you shall say, no. So he telling her, somebody come up here, tell him ain't no man in here. All right? You go on and run along now, little girl. Okay, you go and run along now. Right? Verse 21. Then Yael, Heber's wife, she's the wife of Heber, took a nail of the tent. She took a nail of the tent. It's a big old nail, right? And took a hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him. And she smote the nail into his temples, in his head, and fastened it into the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary. So he died. She killed him softly. Okay? She killed him softly. So there's no limit to your femininity. You understand? Your femininity is there. Okay? She was feminine when she thrust that nail through his skull. And the Most High approved of it. You understand? The Most High has no problem with women as warriors. Right? No problem. Because when we go to the next chapter, in Judges chapter 5, Judges chapter 5, and we're going to start at the 24th verse. This is the angel of Yah talking. This is holiness talking. It says in verse 24, blessed above women shall Yael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, be. Blessed shall she be above women in the tent. You understand? The Most High uplifted her, raised her up. She's blessed. That was a righteous killing. You understand? The Most High has no problem with women defending themselves in the Most High's laws. The Most High has no problem with women being warriors in the Most High's laws. See, when you go to these other man-made laws, it can get a little complicated, right? It gets very complicated in some cases, right? So, no, in the Most High's law, it's very righteous. The Most High wants you to understand, we as a people, we are all just some righteous people. Supposed to be. Some righteous people uplifting the Creator's law, ruling the earth in righteousness. That sounds like a beautiful nation to me. Who wouldn't want that nation? Who wouldn't want those laws? Who wouldn't want that? Except a hater, an enemy of Yah. Right? In Exodus 15, let's go to Exodus 15. Exodus 15. And let's start reading at the 20th verse. The Most High, we had queens. Queens in our kingdom. And Miriam, the prophetess, oh yeah, she was a prophetess. This sister here was a prophetess. Miriam was a prophetess. And she's the sister of Aaron. She took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. She's a prophetess. Listen, when you go to the New Testament, let's switch it up for a little minute. Let's go to the New Testament. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. And let's read the 34th verse. It says, "Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law." Now that's all types of twisted. That's a man talking. You hear that? That's a wicked man talking. So women they're supposed to just keep silence. In verse 35 it says, "And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. For it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church." Come on now. These are not righteous laws. This is the evil patriarchy that everyone complains about. It's misogynistic. Right? These are not the same laws as the Creator's laws, but they like to attach themselves to the Old Testament. They're not the same. Did Yael have to consult with her husband Heber before she killed Sisera? No, she didn't. Nor did the Most High require her to. Go to 1 Timothy. We're going to stay in the New Testament. 1 Timothy chapter 2. And let's start reading at the 11th verse. It says, "Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach. Woo! Nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence." Dang! That sounds like an abusive relationship to me. I don't know what y'all hear when y'all read these verses in the New Testament. The Most High never said that. That's what Christ, this is His doctrine. These are His testimonies. This is not our Creator. You understand? This is the God of our enemies who raised us up to worship their idol and take on their ways. This is not our natural law. This is not our law. Go to, and I was going to say, if you go to 1 Kings 2 and 19, you'll see that Bathsheba was King David's queen. She was a queen, right? We were queens. And the Most High was not ageist when it came to women. You know that? Sarah was an elderly woman before she gave birth to Isaac. You understand? An elderly woman. So the Most High didn't call her used up or hitting the walls and stuff. He didn't do none of that. And saying her body's all dried up and all the stuff that a lot of these men will tell women who are past a certain age. No. The Most High blessed our foremother Sarah. If you want to talk about a woman hitting the wall, you know how insulting that is to the Most High's chosen? Do you know how insulting that is to your foremothers? You should be ashamed to say something like that. Because the Most High blessed our forefather Isaac through our foremother Sarah and our forefather Abraham. Both of them were elderly when they gave birth, when Sarah, our foremother, gave birth to Isaac. Do you understand? So you putting a curse upon yourself, talking foolishness. Just because you don't approve of something doesn't mean that it's the right way. Because you have been taught by the heathens. And you follow the way of the heathens. You follow the way of your enemies, your oppressors. And what do your oppressors do? They hate you. So if you're following their ways, you hate you. And anyone who looks like you. You understand? You see how you're following their ways? Deborah, in Judges chapter 4, was a judge. She judged Israel. Let's go to Judges chapter 4. And we're going to start wrapping it up. It's getting late. All right. I'm going to start reading at the first verse. And it says, "And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of Yah." See how all of these punishments keep coming upon us, like a parent that is punishing us for our sins, a parent that is chastening us, trying to discipline us. Israel, we bad. We the baddest children on the earth. The Most High said, Israel did evil again in the sight of Yah. We did evil again when Ehud was dead. And Yah sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto Yah, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. He heavily oppressed us for 20 years. Heavy oppression. We were in captivity. The Most High throws us in captivity. You going to timeout again for being bad. You getting punished again. You understand? Every time we get punished, y'all. Now is not a time to be misbehaving. It's just not. Not if you care about your life, your own life, your kids' life. Right? Verse 4, "And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time." She's a judge, a whole judge and prophetess. Right? The Most High loves the prophetess. He loves all his daughters. He loves all of his sons. But he will take your life away. He will take your life away. Verse 5, "And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel and Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment." They came up to her for judgment. She was in charge. You think a woman that's been oppressed and abused all her life has been raised up and prepared, groomed to be a judge? I don't think so. You wouldn't want her to have that type of power, right? Verse 6. So our men couldn't have been too wicked. You understand? They couldn't have been too wicked until we became too wicked. Until we became too wicked. A lot of them were righteous. That's why they didn't mind. It was normal for them to see women in these positions of power. It's always really been mostly women anyway. You understand? And that's why there will be 7 women to 1 man. 1 man. The Most High is not a liar. There will be 7 women around 1 man. And there are going to be women that don't mind because this is for the whole village. You understand? The whole village. But that's only for righteous men. That's not for wicked men. That's only for those who live righteously because they're building. They're flourishing. They're fruitful. They're multiplying. They're doing righteously and keeping the earth like the Most High wants them to. Everybody is clean. Everybody is clean. You understand? And then everybody's probably not going to be into polygamy. You might have some people, they just want to be with one spouse, and that's fine. To each their own. But people got to stop trying to tell other people what to do when it comes to their personal choices if they fall under righteousness and not wickedness. See, now if it's wicked, you have to check it, right? You have to correct your people. Correct them. But if it's this person's personal choice and it's not a wicked choice, that's their business. We're all adults. Do you understand? So it reads in verse 6. And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, Has not YAH Elohim of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali, and of the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, and his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into your hand. And Barak said unto her, If thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if you will not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with you, notwithstanding the journey that you take, or that you takest, shall not be for your honor. For YAH shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. You understand? She's a prophetess. She's a judge. She rose from her throne, right? The throne of the judge, and went with Barak. You understand? We had a divine nation that respected the women, that respected the men. That is the nation that we had. That was our nation. But see, we're trying to pervert the Most High's judgments. We're trying to pervert the Most High laws and mix it with the heathen's law. It don't work like that. We're mixing it with our own heart's desires. It don't work like that. You have to go by the law that the Creator gave you as an Israelite. That's the only way it's going to work for you. You understand? So if anybody else, I hope that if anyone cared to know about those topics, that they actually got some understanding from it in the today's or tonight's study. If you have any questions, and you want further explanations and you want to address further topics, I can do that. Just go ahead and message me on Facebook or leave a comment in the YouTube section. I love you all. Praise Yah. That's all I had today. All the glory goes to Yah. And have a good night, everyone. Shalom.
song goes out to my Ema and all the mothers who've been putting it down in our nation for over 3,000 years. Check it. I remember the first time I read the story of Deborah. I felt so empowered, I thought that even I could be a warrior, but not the kind that fight the quarrels of man, but a spiritual battle, sorta like a prophetess can. See how he come to us too, just ask Manoah's wife. Came to her twice cause she was carrying that Nazarite. Spoke wisdom into her husband when he was filled with fright. Be strong and courageous was the word, had to get him right. Don't let nobody say your job's simple, cause in the time of Ezra, Shalom's daughters had helped rebuild the temple. Zipporah saving Moses was never coincidental. Knowing the law of the covenant is more than accidental. The wise woman on the wall gave Yoel a solution. Courageous women in Exodus sparked the revolution. Yo, Kevin and Miriam and Shifra and Pua, I ain't here to debate they met this, I just came to salute them. Salute! I know your crown get heavy, just keep it steady. You're the daughter of the king, you're the daughter of the Most High God. My vein flows with royal blood. I know your crown get heavy, just keep it steady. You're the daughter of the king, you're the daughter of the Most High God. My vein flows with royal blood. Oh, daughter of Zion, rejoice greatly. They hate me, then emulate me, but they can't be melodic like we talk. My style they come installed with the brace who bring trinkets, anklets just dangling when we walk. But don't forget about the warrior in me. 3,000 years of holding it down, I got Deborah in me. Like Abigail, I save you from your own disconcert. Or YAH, no enemies to dirt in a skirt. It's time to go back to the rock we were hewn, cause the nations round about us wanna see us consumed. Ha! You come for me, we pushing back, 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 back. Hot gals is in the building, want ya clap, 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 clap. So ladies, keep your virtue with the Father, cause when the king and the priest needed the law, they had to go to Halter. And that's why I go harder and stay up in this Torah, so I can save a nation like Queen Esther Hadassah. Yeah, I know your crown get heavy, just keep it steady. You're the daughter of the king, you're the daughter of the Most High God. My vein flows with royal blood. I know your crown get heavy, just keep it steady. You're the daughter of the king, you're the daughter of the Most High God. My vein flows with royal blood. Daughters of Sarah, stand up, stand up. Daughters of Leah, stand up, stand up. Daughters of Rachel, stand up, stand up. If you a daughter of Rebecca, come stand up, stand up. Hey, daughters of Sarah, stand up, stand up. Daughters of Leah, stand up, stand up. Daughters of Rachel, stand up, stand up. If you a daughter of Rebecca, come stand up, stand up. Hey, I know your crown get heavy, just keep it steady. You're the daughter of the king.